Yo, what up?
What up?
To the main event, gentlemen. Through Terence Crawford's obviously relationship with Turkey, Kalajdzic, this huge card was created. Terence Crawford obviously has ascended not only in greatness but in weight classes along the way, continuing to move up to now in his fight with Israil Madrimov at 154 for the WBA super welterweight title. Obviously, even the Sheik himself thought that Crawford was going to be the victor. He actually said it was going to be a knockout. Instead, we did get a split decision, but it was clear from the beginning, right, that Madrimov was going to present at least a intriguing challenge for Crawford. And probably, maybe not going to win, but at least presenting an intriguing challenge. A lot of people are quoting, oh, he only had 10, 11 fights, but as I heard quoted on the broadcast a couple times, he had like and I don't know this number to be true, but around 350 amateur fights. So clearly, he has a lot of experience. He's not some guy that only had 10 fights and is just coming in. That being said, Crawford did win 116, 112 on one card, 115, 113 on two other cards. Papi, we'll start with you and then go all the way back up to Clubber D. So what are your thoughts?
Man, I could cook on this one all night, but let me make it short for you. So first of all, I told you they're playing chess, not checkers. All right. When Bud Crawford was whooping Earl's behind in the ring, while he was beating Earl down, he was talking that good trash to Jermell Charlo outside the ring. Jermell Charlo ran his mouth prior to that fight, and Bud said, "You gotta see me. We used to be cool, but now you gotta see me." So stay in your weight class, little boy. You at 147, right? So it starts there. Jermell Charlo owned all them belts. He's the only person to go get undisputed and then just dip off and disappear, go up 2 weight classes to go fight somebody when Bud should have been fighting him next, and that would have been a great bout for Bud to go and clean him up and get undisputed. So first of all, them belts don't really mean that much because ain't nobody beat Jermell Charlo to take them belts off of him. So where'd they come from? Now all of a sudden Bud's fighting Madrimov, right? And it seems like Madrimov wasn't supposed to lose. That's how Eddie felt. They felt like they pulled one over and it was coming to get the strap and take it back overseas. Okay, so now let's talk about how people watch fights and what watching a fight in a relaxed state does for you. When you're watching a fight in a relaxed state and you're not watching and paying attention to the movements and what the fighters are doing, you're sitting there and the commentary is telling you what you're watching. They're putting information into your head that may not necessarily be true. They're promoting an agenda, right? What I saw in the fight was Madrimov doing a whole lot of feints, a whole lot of not punching, right? And them filling in the space between not punching with information of what they think he's thinking or what they think Bud is thinking.
Pop shots.
Damn near a wipeout. I had it 10-2, maybe 9-3 for Bud, right? Would I not take anything from Madrimov? Because when Madrimov touched Bud, he did damage. And you can see that his shots were heavy. They were effective. Bud did catch a lot of them, but the power is different when you move up like that. So if you ask me, Madrimov didn't do enough. He should have did more punching and a lot less feinting. And I believe Bud did enough to be able to take the victory. So scorecards whack. Bud did his thing. I don't know where them belts came from. And again, we just to get boxing right. And we can make it all better. Jermell said he's coming back to 154, let Bud beat his ass and call Bud weight undisputed. Let him be the first one.
All right, Skywalker.
I agree with Ernest, man. I had Bud winning convincingly against Madrimov. Madrimov A lot of his punches weren't landing. If you're watching the fight, a lot of feigning. He had the same kind of movement as like a Bivol, you know what I'm saying? I know that they're comparing him to Triple G, but I think that he looks like Triple G, you know what I'm saying?
He looks exactly like Triple G. I was
just
thinking
like
the
him.
same.
That's a fact.
But his fighting style is kind of like it's Eastern Orthodox, you know, your Russian fighting style. You know, they got the hop to the footwork, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't really letting go. I think if he would have just let go more, he would have more success. But the thing is, Bud Crawford's a very dangerous counterpuncher, and his shots were pretty heavy. I think he looked good at 154. I don't want him to fight Canelo, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see, you know, we see Charlo with Charlo. You know, I don't want to see somebody move up 2 weight classes and fight somebody, you know what I mean? Especially just moving up to 154. You know, just define your own legacy, you know, don't try to but yeah, man, convincingly, Bud Crawford won. I had it 8-4. I gave some rounds to Madrimov. I think he did good in some where Bud seemed like he was more relaxed, just moving around. So yeah, good win by Bud.
Good shit.
Yeah, I agree with you on the scorecard. I also had 8-4. Josh.
Yeah, I thought that Bud won, evident by their faces at the end of the contest. As a matter of fact, I thought a lot of the cleanest work came from Bud. I do think Madrimov showed some resistance, and I like Madrimov, one of those Uzbek warriors, decorated amateur, all that stuff. So he comes with more experience, and don't let the 10-0-1 record or whatever it was fool you. He did have the capability of coming in there and certainly putting up a fuss in some sense. But I do think that Bud showed that he was able to carry that 154 pounds, and he looked bigger and stronger at the weight than I thought he would initially. Now, that being said, I too agree that I'm not a big fan of wanting to see Bud versus Canelo, especially when you have some big fights that can be made with those guys at the weights that they're at. For instance, Canelo Benavidez, of course, and Bud versus, I don't mind Virgil Ortiz, as Turkey had mentioned as well. I don't mind that fight. Or Bud versus Tim Tszyu. I don't mind that one there at 154 pounds. Probably like that one a little bit more, even despite Tszyu coming off of a loss. But then, of course, we know we're waiting on Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora. That fight was scheduled to happen. It got delayed, but it's supposed to still happen. We'll see what ultimately materializes. But I also agree with Ernest there. It would have been excellent to see Bud versus Jermell Charlo. It seems like that's out of the water, gone by the wayside at this particular point. But that would have been excellent right immediately after that Spence contest, and they seem to have the build up and all of that stuff forward. And even if we couldn't get that, Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu, that was one that was heavily talked about before Jermell went up to 168 to take Canelo on, which really realistically made no sense. No one was looking for that fight. If anything, we thought it would be the other Charlo, but it made no sense for Jermell to jump up 2 weight classes when he was undisputed at one. So that's kind of the annoying side of boxing there. And I guess that was Al Heyman's doing, because it was all in-house since Canelo was a free agent in some sense. And then, of course, Jermell was PBC. So it just ended up happening. But that being said, I think that Bud showed that he can be something there at 154 pounds. I want him to pursue going undisputed, because that will lead to some very solid contests. Of course, Ortiz has to get past Boachuk, who he's taking on here, I think this weekend coming up or whatnot. And then, of course, the belts lie also with Sebastian Fundora. So timing is going to be a key there. Bud's not getting any younger, but he still looks pretty solid. And I think that he'll be a force as he continues forward. So I think overall, good win for Bud. Madrimov, of course, he can bounce back from this and get into some additional contests and put himself right back in the mix. So I'm just looking forward to what materializes at 154 pounds moving forward.
That's
There
what's
we
up.
go. Clever D.
Yeah, I was looking to the left and right because I know Josh and think Ernest also got to deal with a dog walking around. I let my dog walk around today. And a big ass King Corso Bronson's he's all over the place right now.
He's good over here.
You telling me?
Mine is he got up, came over here, shook his head. I thought he was gonna freaking drink some water, which is loud as hell. But anyways, kind of what a lot of what Ernest, Josh, and Skywalker had mentioned. You see, if you listen to the commentary, Mannix and Sergio Moro, you would think that they hated Bud. And I'm starting to see that with Bud, Shakur, Devin Haney. And a lot of the announcers do not like them. For some reason, I don't know what it is about those fighters. I have my own stuff we can do it on sidebar, but I have a reason why. But for the common people coming into the show, they're like, oh, wait a minute. Why is this person doing this? Why are you showing clinch stats for Devin Haney against Kambosa when not Kambosa versus Devin Haney? Things of that nature. So Sean Porter was the only one that was kind of honest on his scoring, and Sean Porter was very correct on the scoring. Bud used footwork. Bud hurt Madrimov towards the end of the fight, and Bud was going to the body and using combinations, things that Madrimov weren't doing. And as Ernest alluded to earlier, yes, Madrimov was hitting him with pop shots, but those shots looked, it kind of got his eye swollen a little bit, because he's a bigger guy. But if you look at Madrimov at the end of the fight, Bud beat the hell out of him. I mean, this was I didn't see the fight being that close. I thought Bud whooped him the whole fight, with his footwork. You got the guy, you're hitting him, his mouth is wide open. When he's trying to do his little feinting, just because you feint for 4 or 5 rounds doesn't mean you're doing anything. You can feint, do a punch. That's not winning a round. The same thing with Devin Haney against Lomachenko. Devin Haney went to the body, jabbed, won the first 7 rounds. And same thing with Bud and Madrimov. He was outboxing him. Yes, Madrimov had his points or his time in between the fight, but Bud took over. And then 11th round, he had him hurt. And then 12th round, he took over again. So I feel like Bud looked great. I will feel a little weary if Bud fights Fundora, because I'm a fan of Fundora. I think his size and length will be a problem. But as Lubin said with Fundora, thought he stuffed his gloves, and I've never seen anybody in a press conference still have his gloves on. I don't know if y'all remember that. So
he busted Lubin up bad, bro.
He did, but Lubin said he thought his gloves were loaded, and then in the press conference, Fundora still has his gloves on. I've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? But somebody from the corner should be in there.
Whatever, sitting at the table.
Yes, he has gloves on at the table.
Interesting.
That's kind of weird.
It's little, but somebody should be there, kind of like how they caught Margarita. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if nobody was in the locker room, but Lubin brought out there that he has gloves on in the press conference, which is weird. So I'm just saying, just putting that out there. But I think Fundora would be a tough out for Bud, and also would just to throw this in at the end. I'm sorry, Virgil Ortiz has already said, Ryan Garcia, oh yeah, I'll fight you any day. Earl Spitz, yeah, we see that at Dallas Stadium. Recently, just I think today or yesterday, Bud Crawford. Well, there's other fights out there. There's other fights I can do. So that tells me that's twice. He's a duck, Bud Crawford. That's twice. So let's put that out there. And also with Virgil Ortiz, can he make 154? He hasn't made it yet. He was overweight the first time. Now he's fighting on Saturday. Is he going to make that weight class? Just saying.
And as you mentioned, right, that was the fight that Turkey Al-Sheikh said he wanted to make if Canelo did not take the Crawford fight, which now Canelo is also ducking that fight. But I mean, on that note, right, we would think Terence Crawford wants that fight mostly for a payday, but whether they're changing their plans because they think maybe Crawford was less impressive than they thought he was going to be moving up to 154, or maybe it's because Alvarez, who's fighting Berlanga next, is, ducking them or, just playing coy. obviously he's been ducking all the other fighters we want to see, including Benavidez. So let's do a quick around the horn, and I just want to get your picks. Each of you, what do you think would be the next best fight for Crawford? Should it be Ortiz? Should it be Canelo? Should it be someone else? What do y'all think? Let's go ahead and go. Papi, what do you think?
First of all, I just wanted to let y'all know that the guy that's riding the tricycle on the Saw cover is Chris Mannix. There just ain't no seat on there, and he likes to pop wheelies and wear a mask. I can't stand it. All right, but if you're asking me, man, Bud is a man of his word. He said Jamel got to get that work. So if Jamel can stop, if both the Charlos can stop smacking their wives up for a minute, we can get some real fights out here. So I want to see Bud and Jamel get it. So Bud beats Jamel. I'm saying that Bud is the GOAT. 3-weight class undisputed. Because if you beat the man, that beat the man, that beat the man, that makes you the lineal. That's what I heard.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I see a few more.
All right, Skywalker.
Fuck off that tricycle, boy. Can't stand.
I think he got a lot of pull, man. I think if he wants to unify, he could fight Pandora. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a good fight. And Jamel, yeah, Jamel's good, but I think Pandora right now, Tim Tszyu, you know what I mean? He's got a big fan base, you know what I mean? So there's some good fights at 154. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sleepers too, man. Like Charles Conwell, he's another good 154 pounder.
He's sleeping everybody.
Yeah. And I don't, like boasting about, fighters that, taking lives in the ring, but he's one of them, He's
man. R.I.P. Patrick Day.
Patrick Day.
Yeah.
I'm taking Conwell over everybody down there.
He got that raw strength.
Mm-hmm. It's different.
And he's slick too, bro.
He hit like them people. Like he don't have eyes, people.
The hill. That's funny. That's funny.
I love
but
that.
Hey, but yeah, I would say either Ortiz or Tim Tszyu. I think those make for very exciting fights right there. I would say Jamel Charlo, but of course he got a lot of issues he's dealing with right now. Him and his brother, they both need to get their stuff together, make up so that they're back attending each other's fights and go from there. But based on what's out there right now, because Pandora is lined up to face Errol Spence and not waiting, I would say either Tszyu or Ortiz. And hey, Tszyu, hey, he's available,
All right. Clever D.
I'm more of the I'm on the fence of for Crawford. So he might become unified WBA and WBO champion, depending on if Fundor can fight at a certain point. With him getting 2 belts to be the number 1 contender for WBC, all he has to get is the IBF. At age 36, about to be 37, I'm more for him if it's not somebody with a belt. Don't fight. I want him to be a 3-time, the first male unified champion. So I love the Charlo fight. I would love that to happen, but Charlo doesn't have a belt right now, and I'd rather if a belt's on the line, he can get that. Go ahead, take it. Because to me, if he does that, I think Ernest said earlier, Crawford will be top 5 for me as far as best boxer ever. You know what I'm saying? If he does that. So
Wow. Okay.
The PPC be on that BS, bro. Talking about baiting and switching. Tim Tszyu is a victim. He's like a P. Diddy victim because they baited and switched. They baited, man. Where the WTF is Keith one-time Thurman? That boy. Didn't you say you was going to 154? Wasn't you supposed to fight Tim Tszyu? Did you just fade it to black? Where are you at? You should be a tune-up for somebody. Matter of fact, Virgil Ortiz should beat the brakes off you.
That's a fight. That's a fight that needs to happen. And I was like, Keith Thurman's down in, he's in Clearwater with my brother hanging out. We're just chilling.
All right. Yeah. Hey, because I know they got that mad honey over there in Nepal, and he might have been
hallucinogenic honey. Yeah, I know
what I'm doing, bro. I'm telling you, man, the stuff they be doing is real funny, man. Because Fundora threw like 700 punches that fight. You don't fill in last minute at 2 weeks out, and you can throw 700 punches and don't be tired. That means you was preparing for him the whole time, the same way they did Pac-Man with our boy from Cuba. Preparing for him the whole time, the bait and switch. Oh, Earl's eye is injured. Okay, let's just slide this dude in here.
Yep. Because remember, promotion, his promotional company's not with PBC.
We're not following
that no PBC, so that's why.
Not following that no more. Jamel is the undisputed champion at 154. I don't care if he don't got the belts or not.
It's kind of like Josh Taylor at 140 when he lost the belts and if people humbled him. Hey, everybody, hit the like button. Everybody has to hit the like button. Just do it one time. It's free.
Yeah.
Hit the like.
No, yeah,
everybody here. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to everybody here, okay? That's all.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in. Okay.
Lead them tricycles alone.
Yeah, leave them tricycles alone. That's right. Thank you all. Yeah, and thank everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it that you all stick with us. We are going strong and having some really good conversations. So shout out to everybody who's tuned in. Shout out to Canteen. Shout out to Gray Fox. And we also got some questions here that I apologize to you. I know it was a bit of a conversation we had there, Tim Titan. But he had a question a while ago, and we weren't able to get to it yet because we were rolling along. But he says, speaking of 140, do any of you think Ismael Bonasso is a factor in any matchup? So if anyone wants to touch on that.
He's old, but man, he got some dog in him. Huh?
I think age is a factor. Not going to give him any legitimate shot.
Hey, listen, my man is handing out my concussions and migraine medicine. He hit hard.
I'll give Pop a chance. Pop, he does have a chance. I think depending on who he fights.
Timing is a factor, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, we got Russell Jr. Matias ain't dead yet just because he lost a fight. Bro, we got there's some monsters at 140. Paro. Russell got the rude awakening when he talked about PEDs. Don't mean nothing. Hey. Talk about Devin Haney, and then so what happened to him? Inactivity. You fight. They like that. PBC wants you to fight once a year. That's it. Once every 2 years. 140 got some killers there, man, and that's why he's out chasing Bud. You got work at 140, and then you got Brian Norman and Boots and Stanionis at 147 before you start talking 154. Yo, man. Listen, all them people, all those fighters that fought on Top Rank and they drank the Kool-Aid that had 4 cups of sugar in it per quart. The gift is up, bro. Y'all ain't prima donnas. Y'all are fighters. And if you want the respect that you're asking for, you got to fight somebody for real. Somebody that's a real threat and risk it. And then we'll give you everything you asking for. That's it. Just go. You got to put it on the line, though.
Diabetic. Got to put it on the.
Hey, I'm waiting for that cup of Kool-Aid, bro. I'm working with them this week, bro.
It's not me. It's not me. 4 cups of sugar per quart.
I'm gonna see Bob on Saturday. I'm gonna say, "What's up, Bob?" I'm gonna try to get an interview from him.
They're like, we're never gonna fight over again because you're
I love it. Please get him to Bob Aaron. Please do. Yeah. Please do.
Yeah. Tell him stop using Ali's name,
bro. Yeah.
Bob, stop using Ali's name. Nico and
Random. Look at my hand, bro. I got the Top Rank stamp still on my fucking hand, bro.
Oh, there we go.
That TR, man, I got tattooed today, bro. The special ink right there. There's that.
You won't get tattooed. You won't get
That's
tattooed.
The first thing they do before they blow air on your booty cheeks.
No Diddy. I'll just play with you.
Like I said, man, you just gotta watch out for Oscar. You know what I mean? The boys be having some wild parties out there, man.
Hey, watch out
You
for
got to
Oscar.
say no.
Watch out for
The abs and
watch out for Diddy. Watch out for all of the above that may try to snatch your booty. Bajo.
made sandwiches.
Yeah,
This is my
It's
first
not
time
paid.
going to a top rank event. I did PBC before, so
there you go.
No,
Make you do
you're doing your thing, man. That's dope that you're out there at the fights, man. Make sure you get some good footage and let the people know, man. They can come check all of us out. They come talk to us. We're gonna give them a real conversation, and we care about them. And that's all we want. We want to see them make money, support their families, and leave with their health at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
Hey, make sure y'all subscribe to everybody's channels here. Papi, Choon, Yayo, Skywalker, Boxeo, and 86 Boxing, as well as Ball and Buzz. My brother Bajo had a question. He says, does anyone think that shorter rounds but more total rounds in boxers would cause boxers it would create more action because they had less time per round to actually get their shots in? What are your thoughts on this? Anybody?
Put them in the Telemundo ring.
they got a promotion called Team Combat League where you can get one round of action. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of different fighters. So they're already creating their own league for that kind of
I
stuff.
think that's
you know what I mean?
sustainable way.
Yeah, and they're already arguing women's boxing should be 3 minutes instead of 2 minutes. So to cut the minutes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
No 24 round, no 20 rounds, 2 minutes. No, nothing like that. Okay.
No.
My uncle on the wall.
I think they go from 16 by 16 to 24 by 24 at the largest.
Yeah.
I think so. I call them Telemundo rings. Them joints they be fighting in Mexico. Ain't nowhere to run to.
Nope.
You fighting the phone.
Bajo. Shout out to my man Bajo out there. Shout out to Bajo. He's down in Chesapeake.
Fix it right there. That thing.
My uncle on the wall, man, Bobby Chacon, he fought 15-round wars, bro. Like that fight you said, the bazooka.
The Berserk Bazooka. It was crazy.
Yeah, he took so much damage, bro. He got knocked out by Alexis Arguello. He got hit by that division back then was on fire, bro. You know what I mean?
That's another good one.
Yeah, but to take damage is what we're trying to prevent in boxing, man. And and my uncle passed away at a young age because of pugilistic dementia. He got hit too much, bro. And
wow, damn.
Yeah, he ended up on the streets, bro. You couldn't control him. Like, he got to a point where he got really sick. That's when they put him in the home. But yeah, man, boxing can kill you, man. You know what I'm saying? So I think with the 12 rounds instead of 15. And then with refs stopping fights, Josh is a historian up here, you know what I mean? He covers the sport from the late 1800s, early 1900s. And these fighters would go multiple rounds. No refs would stop anything. And
right.
Yeah, man. We've seen it evolve, man, from a barbaric sport to where it's more refined, safe, you know what I mean?
It's barbaric. Don't get it twisted. What the fans gotta do, the fans gotta not be mad at fighters like Shakur and Devin because they are boxers and they like to hit and don't get hit. Yeah. But because the announcers and the promoters are pushed, oh man, you got to get in there and exchange with them. But I'm good at punching them, motherfucker, and not get hit. And the fans gotta if you understand the sport, then you wouldn't be putting this pressure on people. There's people that with natural power they're gonna put you to sleep. And there's people that can just get hit and don't get hit. You gotta love the whole.
Dana White's doing something similar to that in UFC, where the card in England, where they had 7 with the decision cards, and he's like, I'm not upping my money because there's no incentive. But you got to respect a jiu-jitsu fighter, defensive fighter. You know what I'm saying? You got to respect that. Just like in boxing, people don't understand that hit, not get hit. That's the name of the game. It's not about let me stand in the middle, just rock 'em, sock 'em robots. It doesn't work like that. My bad, Josh. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've rocked with Shakur's fights. I think he puts on a clinic. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind watching it for sure, but I understand the perspective of those that want to see action. Yeah, I don't think shortening the rounds would necessarily result in more action or whatnot. I do know that from a historical standpoint, back in the day, one of the things was you would have shorter fights in terms of rounds totals, and it was not uncommon to see the elite top level fighters that were champions have a 6-rounder or something of that nature. And just as they were kind of stay busy fights in some cases, or they'd be taking on top level competition to other elite fighters for 6 rounds. And I think that does put some emphasis on there, especially if you're looking to keep kind of your record intact and keep the momentum going or whatnot. So I would think that could kind of factor in some capacity, but stylistically speaking, I think that a defensive fighter is going to be defensive regardless of the amount of rounds that is tied to it more often than not, so I don't know if there's any way of changing fighters' mentality based on the total number of rounds, just thinking about it from that standpoint.
1 round, Telemundo ring, no time limit. 3 knockdowns to the first to 4.
Rockin' sock'em robots. That's it. Just
that would change it for sure.
Last man standing.
Get in there,
I don't know. No choice.
I love it.
Going in there throwing them dick beaters. Well, all right, cool. And as you mentioned, right, like women are even lobbying for 3-minute rounds now. So going backwards is not going to happen. But
they should get it.
I mean,
I love it.
It's
a
novel.
Yeah,
I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Anybody want to say their thoughts on that? Should women
on
be,
women?
at least
We asked the women, like on our show, we've had women on and we've asked them those questions, and a lot of the women wish they had a little more time to work.
Majority say 3 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah. They wish they had time to work. We'd probably get more knockouts, more stoppages, because 2 minutes is not enough time really to show skill. Because you get the referees, sorry, Josh, but in the women's fights, the referee will get in there and it'll be 15, 20 seconds trying to break somebody up. And now we down to 1:40. We're at 1:20. You got 3 breakups. And you had 5 punches thrown, and 3 of them landed. Maybe.
Yeah. We talked about that at our. Me and Omar talked about that. I think it was Monica Rana when she fought in Florida, and WBC didn't want to recognize that 3-minute round fight. I 100% agree with everybody. Should be 3 minutes for women. Women could do just the same as men can do. 3-minute rounds. Let's do it.
Yep.
And the amateurs, the elite women, they do 3-minute rounds, so it can be done. It's doable. I would support it for sure, and I think that would change the dynamic somewhat. Or at the very least, if they're going to keep it 2 minutes, I think the championship fight should be 12.
At least
rounds,
the championship. Yeah,
2 minutes.
At least.
Yeah.
I agree. At least
the 3 minutes off. We could go. I don't know. We can go. Clarissa versus Iman, the Olympian. We can just kick it right off.
Oh, you stupid. You so stupid. You so stupid. You so
That's why.
stupid.
That's why.
Yeah, Guo. Oh yeah, I picked up by knockout too. Yeah, Guo.
That's why.
Oh man.
All
Damn.
buzz.
First of all, you ain't getting us in trouble or canceled. That's allegedly. Okay, that is allegedly. I did a story on this on my show yesterday. Y'all want to go? Y'all want to go check out? Yeah, I mean, you're right. I shouted her out yesterday as well. Shout out to Quote. We all know it. So.
5,000.